welcome to Things Invest. Talk about investing, finance, and professional development. For today's items only, the investment top today would be Ethereum ticker ETH. First, just want to say happy Wednesday, everybody. We're a great week so far, and also happy September. Today, September 1st. Respect to recording time of 9:45 a.m. on the Eastern time, Ethereum's currently trading at $3,547, up about close to 3% so far. In addition to Ethereum being surging today, across the whole crypto market is relatively green as well. Besides Solana, seems like we are, experiencing some, quite drastic volatility, right? Hitting all the way to $135 mark about a couple of days ago, and then dropping all the way below 100, and then now it seems like we're hovering back up. So there's definitely a lot of, manipulations, but a lot of FOMO effects that's currently cultivating with Solana specifically. So with respect to Ethereum, right now, as I was collecting some news earlier this morning to see what's driving this surge, the subsequent surge we've been experiencing so far. It seems like with respect to the news, right, I've been collecting for the last, 2 hours so far. And the news is basically a spectrum between 12 hours to like 24 hours mark from just a collection of different media fronts. The first one's coming from Decrypt 43 minutes ago. DeFi tokens, AF, and Uniswap rally as Ethereum scaling solutions Arbitrum launches. So as you know, this is an investment that institution invested recently, and I believe the mark was about like $140 million for the Arbitrum value proposition to, improve the long-term sustainability in a technological infrastructure fund for Ethereum as we are further scaling and further, establishing this asset class going forward, right? Another one talking about with respect to Pantera-backed Brain Trust launches token on Ethereum mainnet. So this is another type of adoptions tokens that is cultivating, besides with the NFT commercialization that we're seeing as well. So another step of approval from another, large corporations, if you may, having more step of approval from institutional investors or asset holders, if you may. Another one from Bazinga 3 hours ago, talking about someone named James Putra from TradeStation talks about Ethereum, the rise of institutional investments in cryptocurrencies, and what does this all mean, right? And I think on a high level read, it's just basically talk about the rise of corporate adoptions with investments being held in their balance sheets, and also with respect to future commercializations that we're already seeing from Ethereum with the NFT adoptions. And what would that look like going forward in translations of price point going forward, right? So definitely another, informative news. And I like the fact that it's non-biased. It's more just, regurgitation of something that we already well aware of. And then another one coming from Cointelegraph about 3 hours ago, talk about Ethereum breaking the $3,500 mark, hitting the 3 months high against Bitcoin. So in the percentage wise, we're definitely surging, much better, in terms of, the growth rates of percentage so far in comparisons to Bitcoin. And the article in this one is talking about, is this sustainable going forward? What will be the next leap up, right? Which we will dive into in a technical analysis. And I could give you the short answer. The next level, if we break above the current level, would be the 3,850. But we can go through that a little bit later. With respect to the next one, talking about just another regurgitation news, talk about Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Polkadot, and surges 16% in DeFi party. So another just regurgitation news, talk about how well Ethereum is doing so far. And then another one talk about on Bazinga, this is the last one, talking about investors are showing interest in specifically Ethereum, and it seems like people are holding, but not with the regular word holding. It's HODLING, holding. So it seems like they are, I don't know if this is a funny affectation that they try to put on, but definitely, we are seeing what they're talking about, right? Investors are definitely holding on and, converting themselves from short-term investing to more long-term investing, which is one of the reasons why we're also seeing the sustainability that we're seeing right now. Also, on top of the fact that, with respect to just NFT commercializations, corporate adoptions, and just positive news on a daily basis that we've been seeing so far, right? And I've been keeping tabs, right? This morning we have about 12 positive news talking about specifically on how well Ethereum has been performing so far, and reinforcement and regurgitation news on, the positive side of the spectrum historically as well. So now going back to the technical analysis. So as we're recording off at 9:51 a.m. on Eastern Time, current trading $3,545. So we are definitely, surging up and away. And the next level, technically, if we, and knowing the fact that we did break the level of 3,485, we are hovering on a sideways fashion right now. We don't really have any ground, but if you call this a ground that we have tested on May 7th, then you could kind of characterize this as a next ground. But this is relatively new territory. We have only one consolidation platform historically and nothing else. So we are forming another one. So this is a second one. And also on top of the fact that the next one, if we leap up, let's just say we have more coincidental positive news that's been percolating so far, and we keep having these type of positive media affectation, the next level will be 3,843, which we have talked about like 2 minutes ago in the video, right? So this is a relatively large leap up, and it will require a lot of buying pressure. And I think we could potentially get there, knowing the fact that we have a golden cross that we're forming right now. You could see the scoop if we zoom in closely, right? We have to watch this very closely. If we form this golden cross, we will leap up. That's just the way the technical is set up. However, we have to understand that the RSI is still overbought. Okay, so they kind of net cancel out, right? If the RSI was like below here, I would feel more comfortable buying, because like this could be just a relatively prompt cross section, and then it will sell off from there, right? We wouldn't be seeing something like this, like the way we saw from the the B word summit, where we had that golden cross, and then we durate the cross for a long time. And this would be a relatively short one, because by that point you have to look at the RSI, right? How it matches. The RSI was relatively depleted by that point. But right now it's the opposite side of the spectrum. So the surge that we might see would not be as prominent compared to the way that we surged so far. Hopefully that makes sense. So we have to understand that the relationship between the two is kind of complex, but I hope that you are following, right? We are forming a golden cross. We're overbought, so kind of net cancel out. All right. Also, on top of the fact that the next level, again, right, is the 3,843, and we are still following the trend of this, upward wedge. It seems like, with this surge today, we are definitely forming a upward triangle, right? And with this upward triangle, and I drew the apex, right? And it seems like with this sideways zigzag, we could potentially keep zigzagging up and away to all the way by the point of October now, if we are following the trends, right? But it never really, completely matches the apex just based on historicals, right? Once the whales feel like, they are, they've eaten enough in the buffet of paradise that they've been percolating from public investors, they will be incentivized to sell. So I would be very cautious right now. But again, if you want to buy them now, right, that's up to your decisions, right? It's your risk aversion. Ultimately, with respect to the chart that we're following, the cheat sheet, right? We always understand that there is a last hurrah, which I keep mentioning, the complacency stage, that you will see a large surge, right? Because people are convincing themselves, and I think you're feeling this right now. We need to just cool off for the next rally, and we are seeing the next rally right now, right? And this is the reason why you see these kind of a green surge or volatility, right? And hoping that will keep going, because we were at the euphoria stage and we want to keep going back. But remember, we were at the B word summit from the disbelief a while back. You need to go through the whole oscillation, right? You wouldn't be just like creating a new disbelief all over again, right? But understand that the risk is increasing. There is a lot of good tailwinds, a lot of good media affectation, right? 12 positive news that just happened in the course of 14 hours, spectrum in the last, one day so far, that selling off could be possible, right? Because of the normal course of cadence and the fundamentals, right? So for me, I'll just knowing the fact that I have 55 Ethereum, do I want to be, practicing patient right now? I think I definitely want to be, because the technical is telling me to not go the way that we want to be, even though we feel like we're missing out, right? Because the level of the more risk averse level would be 3,000, 2,750, 2,450, right? And ultimately, investing has no expirational clock, right? There is no it's not like you will miss out forever, because the oscillation needs to occur, right? So if you buy now just because you feel like you want to just get rid of that feeling of missing out, just know that and give yourself that preparation that you're not gonna be surprised that $9,800, long term wise, it would be possible, even higher than that, right? And if you can give yourself that mental preparation, then go ahead and do so, and do so with that risk aversion, that caution, that you understand that you're not putting all your money into one asset class, you're not going all in, and by doing so, you will be just fine, ultimately. But this is ultimately just what I'm doing, and hopefully this is helpful. And appreciate you for dropping by again. And stay tuned for things to come up. Take care. Bye.